Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Please do comment in the comment section as you come on in. And do let me know if you can hear me. Blessings to all of you as you come on in. It is so good to see all of you. It is so good to see all of you. Welcome to the Marva Lewis Show. Today, we're going to be discussing boundaries. I was supposed to come on yesterday, uh, but that was pretty much impossible because there were so much things that I had to do. So here it is. Here I am. Um, thank you so much for sharing. Please do come on in and please do share the show. Um, I want to speak with you today on the topic boundaries. And this is something that a lot of us deal with, have issues with. And so I just wanted to come on in and have a discussion with you. Thank you so much for sharing the broadcast as you come on in. Please do share, um, comment, let me know where you are watching from. I know I have my YouTube um, um, watchers, so please let me know where you are watching from. Please place in the comment section where you are watching me from, which island, which city, state, wherever you are. Please comment in the comment section. But today, I wanted to come on in and just have a discussion, a heart to heart on boundaries. And on the show, we're going to be discussing various topics, a lot of things we're going to be discussing. And so please do come on in. As you can see, I placed in on the bottom here on the screen to the bottom, you can see where you can WhatsApp me no matter where you are from. Once you have WhatsApp, you can WhatsApp me at 1242-826-3240. You can WhatsApp me, be a part of the discussion. I can read your comment that is on the comment here. Like it's far from me, so I may not be able to see it. I'll try to read the comments that are posted on the live feed, and I'll also be tuning into my phone. So if you have to WhatsApp me, want to be a part of the discussion, please do let me know. I see Guyana is in the house. Exuma is in the house. Turks and Caicos is in the house. Nassau is in the house. Blessings to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. As you know, this is a new thing for me. It's so much that I have to try to tone myself down. But of course, you all know a prophet cannot be held down. But like I said, this is a talk show where we're going to be discussing various topics and having a lot of discussion, speaking to people around the world, speaking to persons right here in the Bahamas. Sometimes I'll have them on the live stream with me. And for those that are available and it could be right here with me, we'll have them here on the show. But I'm hoping to one day take this out of my home and probably in a studio where we can have more guests come on in to be a part of these discussions because I would have liked for someone to be a part of this discussion with me. But hey, let's get into it. Today I want to discuss, like I said, boundaries. Um, it's on the live feed down in the topic section. You can see exactly what it is that we're talking about. But this is something that is really near and dear to my heart. The reason why I wanted to have this discussion with you guys is because a lot of us grow up in a culture, a lot of us grow up in communities where um, boundaries was a problem. Boundaries was a problem. Blessings to all of you that are coming on in. Boundaries was a problem. And for many of us, a lot of us did not understand boundaries until we grew up. A lot of us didn't understand the reason why we were feeling certain ways, the reason why we didn't want to be around people or the need to be around people. Most of us didn't understand that most of these things were grounded in, the lack of boundaries or boundaries being set. And so today, what I want to talk about is the fact that many of us grew up without boundaries. A good example that I could give you right off the bat is being a child. and having a parent who is per se a people pleaser. And a lot of us dealt with this, and even some of us were dealing with this now, um, in our own adult lives, where we want to please people. We always want to put ourselves on the back burner and please people instead of, pleasing ourselves. That way we could be more healthier, for people in our families and our friends and relationships, and show up and be more present. But for a lot of us, we are people pleasers, and a lot of our parents, were people pleasers. They cared more about what people said versus, the health of the relationship between mother and child, or father and child. And so you would find a lot of times that, when guests came around, at the home, certain things they would have you do, go and hug so and so, go and kiss so and so, go and talk to so and so, or, and sometimes, these things would make you feel uncomfortable. But being a child, you didn't know how to express certain things. And because you didn't know how to express that, I don't want to touch this person, I don't want to hug this person, I don't want to be around this person. And so for a lot of us, our boundaries was, sort of, out of whack from we were children. And it's kind of like a repetitive cycle, because some of our parents were placed in these same situations. And so therefore, because they were placed in these same situations, they didn't know better to say, you know what, I'm not going to place my child in this situation. So, that was an example that I wanted to give you right off the bat, because I could remember. I don't know if you all remember, back in the day, and me growing, having, you know Haitian, being descendant of Haitians, and my mother being, of course, from Haiti, and leaving behind her parents in Haiti. What they would do is they would, send these messages back home to their family. And what they would do is they would go and they would record messages on these cassettes. I wonder if you all remembering these things, or anybody else. You all let me know in the comment section if you all ever, experienced this or had to go through this, where your parents would, recording a message, and they asking you now to come and say hello to Auntie so and so, hello to Grammy, and hello to Granddaddy. Mind you, you have never met these persons, never seen these persons, right? But they would be, telling you to say hello to all of these persons. And I can remember being placed in that position, right? And I'm like, I don't even know these people. I don't know who you want me to say hello to. So you coming on these, little, on this, cassette, and you're like, hi Grammy, hi Auntie so and so, and hi this and that. At the time you don't know who in the world these people is, and it made me feel so uncomfortable. But being a child, you don't know how to express this to, your parents. I didn't know how to say to my mommy, like, I'm uncomfortable doing this because I don't even know these people. How can I express feelings for someone that I don't know or never met? And so it was, an uncomfortable, situation. And so because of the way that I grew up wanting or having this desire to always please people. And that goes deeper with a lot of other things. But today I just want to deal with, boundaries. It's a lot of other things that play or come into effect. Where at an early age, I always wanted to please people. At an early age, I began to, put Marva on the back burner, and sort of, started to put people ahead of me. Their feelings begin to matter more than my feelings. And so please, y'all, let me know if you all still can see me. Let me know in the comment section if you all are hearing me and seeing me, um, as I continue. And so, okay, let me go, if I could go on live chat. Yes, and so, I grew up, wanting to please people because of the way that I grew up. And so because of that, um, um, as I got older, I got kind of trapped, stuck in wanting to please people. And so even as an adult, I was always the one who, would come to the rescue. I'm the one who always want to, please the people. I'm the one who's always putting Marva at the back burner, and always want to take care of other people, want to see other people happy. At the same time, it was hurting me more, because what I was doing is literally not, looking at me and saying, Marva, what do you need? Marva, do you need a break? Marva, do you need a hug? Marva, do you need a breather? Do you need space? But I would constantly allow people to invade my space. I would constantly allow people to say things to me. Even if it didn't feel good to me, I would swallow it, take it, mainly because I wanted to please. Even when I was younger and just, experiencing motherhood, people would tell you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, this is the way to raise your children. This is the way to do that and to do this. Mind you, this ain't the way that you want to do it. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me, Miss Bella. And mind you, that's not the way you want to raise your kids. That's not the way you probably want to, have your household. But because you listen to everyone and you trying to please this one, please that one, and it only creates more of a chaos. And so I just wanted to talk about it tonight for a few minutes on the show tonight. And so, what are boundaries? What are boundaries? And this is so. Let me tell you, when when I this morning when I got up and I was like, what to talk about today? I supposed to come on yesterday, but I didn't come on yesterday. But um, let me come on today. And what do I talk about? And automatically this topic was the first thing, and let me tell you, I have a list of topics to discuss, and I would have said to you guys, hey, listen, whatever it is that you want us to discuss, please send me your questions, send me your comments. I have this bowl here. I showed you guys this on the last one. I have this beautiful bowl here where I'm going to put your questions, and all everything that you send me, I'm going to put it in the bowl, and then I'll be able to go in there, retrieve it, and on the live feed be able to read your questions, your comments, and answer your questions and so forth about anything. And so I said, oh, hold on, I don't think that's one of the things that I have on my list, boundaries, because really and truly, we don't really think about boundaries. It's something that we just let, yeah, they just do this, that do this. People is do this, people is do that. And we sort of kind of accept, certain situations. But I'm like, I don't know. Let me tackle this. And so let me give you the definition that I have written here about boundaries. What are boundaries? And I have here boundaries are limits or invisible lines set for ourselves that allow us to be comfortable with ourselves, for ourselves, to be comfortable with ourselves, sorry, and those that we come into contact with. Now, that may be friends, that may be relationships, that may be um, romantic relationships, friendships, that may be people you come in contact with at work, people you come in contact with at church, people that you just, talk to each and every day. And so I wanted to just give you the definition of this. And I also look up something. Let me go ahead and read it for you. Boundaries in relationships are limits that you set about what you are comfortable with and how you expect to be treated by others. They define where you end and someone else begins, and help you maintain your personal space, time, choices, opinions, and activities. Boundaries are based on your beliefs, standards, and value systems, and they communicate with you. They communicate what behaviors by others are acceptable or unacceptable. And so, therefore, literally, it is saying that, listen, my boundaries, I set my boundaries based on my value, based on my beliefs, based on what makes me comfortable and what makes me uncomfortable. My boundaries are set based on my limitation, what is taking it too far, what is enough, and what am I comfortable with. And so I just, like I said, wanted to come and discuss this because so many of us grow up in communities and in cultures where our boundaries are crushed every single time. Is crushed by our friends, crushed by family members, co-workers, people you come in contact with, people you grow up with. Listen, that's the worst right there. The people that you grow up with, let me tell you, respect boundaries where some of the people that you grow up with, some of the people, your family members, are the ones that will break your boundaries, go beyond your boundaries. As a matter of fact, you'll have a wall up and they will get a bulldozer and they will push that thing down because they really don't care. Most of the time, most people really don't care. And the thing about it is, most person don't even realize when they're going beyond your boundaries. Most people don't even realize when they're making you uncomfortable. Some people don't even realize when they are in your space or invading your space and it making you uncomfortable. Some people don't realize that. Haven't you ever seen person too? And man, I'm not going to be mincing my words on the show, so you might as well get used to it. People that their way of communication is they in your face, like they right here. And in communicating with persons, I found that some people they would be right up in your face. They need to be in your face. And I'm like, hey, step back. You are too much in my space. I'm uncomfortable. And most of the time, I found that when I'm in conversations with persons that are, all up in my space, or persons that like to touch you when they are speaking, or hit you when they're speaking, or when they laughing and they like to hit you. Listen, I do not like to be touched, especially if you are laughing. Don't touch me, don't hit me, because I feel some type of way. And so when a person like that is having a conversation with me, I'm taking a step back. And even as in my career, you'd find that when you're speaking to someone or even a prisoner, most of the time when they're trying to communicate or explain a situation, they like right here. And I'm trying to go back a little bit, give them some space. And of course, you all know with my career, I carry a firearm. So I'm conscious of my firearm and you coming too close to me. And then, of course, me, my personal space, like, sir, mom, you getting a little bit too close. And so it makes me uncomfortable. And then I got to now all kind of rockets shooting up in my head that, oh, I got to defend myself against this, against that. And it makes me uncomfortable. It put me in a place where I got to react very quickly to what, your reaction. And so I prefer for you to be a good distance away from me when you are communicating with me. And some people are not able to read your body language and to understand that, hey, this person probably uncomfortable with me being too close and step back. I am a person that is very, not only do I have a heightened discernment, I actually have this thing where I don't know, it's something in me that I'm always conscious of how other people may feel. And so I'm always reading people, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit when it comes to reading people and people who could drain you. All of that is a part of boundaries. And so um 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 I'm very good when it comes to reading people. And so if I'm communicating with someone and I'm getting a vibe like they ain't really interested in that, I'm able to say, okay, let me veer the conversation in a different way. Or if I commuting with someone and I have the urge or something to touch that person, and that don't happen too often, then I would go based on that person's reaction. If I'm speaking with someone and they receiving me and they're looking at me in my eye and face to face, how to react to that person because they right there. But I'm very careful of, okay, this person isn't comfortable with this conversation, and bear in mind now my career. And so on my career, I have to quickly read people. Okay, just ain't comfortable. Or sometimes I may need some information from someone and they're not comfortable with giving that information, but I need the information. And so I have to be able now to find tactful ways of getting that information, along with using discernment, and along with using, if I was in this position, how would I feel? And a lot of people don't do that. Let me tell you, a lot of people don't know how to put themselves in certain situations and be like, how would I feel if this person was doing this to me? And so we have to gauge in communication, in our relationship, what boundaries that are being set. And then you have some people that communicate their boundaries. They tell you, hey, I don't like being touched. I am one for one. I usually tell somebody when I realize that they're a touchy person, or they're persons that like to laugh and touch you, hey, listen, stop touching me, man. Like, I may say it in a joking way, or if I realize that it persists, as in if I say it in a jokey way, it's like, man, stop touching me, man, and you didn't get it the first time, I will get serious and be like, hey, I don't like being touched. You have to verbalize these things. Don't expect someone to understand where you're coming from or understand your boundaries if you never verbalize it, if you never say it. And I know for a lot of us that are people pleasers, we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. We want everything to be comfortable. We don't want to ruffle no feathers. Let me tell you, if you do not verbalize what it is that you are feeling or what it is you want or do not want, your boundaries will be run over and crushed over and over and over again, and you will be disappointed over and over again. So you have to be able to say, hey, 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 this is my boundary. This is the line in the sand. You stay over there. I'm going to stay over here. That will keep both of us comfortable. And so we have to be able to realize and to gauge, what is my comfort level? What will I accept? And so be able to say that I don't like being touched. Some people don't like being hugged. A lot of us, we go to churches, we attend churches, right? And a lot of times they'll be like, go and greet and meet and greet some people and so forth and all that. Some people are not huggers. Some people don't want you to hug them. Some people don't want you to kiss them. Like, you give a friendly kiss on the cheek. Some people just do not like being touched. You know what I mean? Some people do not like being hugged. And then you have some people that are, they don't like shaking hands. That's their boundaries. That's you cannot overstep certain things. And that's where we have a lot of problems when it comes to communicating, because we don't understand how to gauge. We don't understand how to discern. We don't understand how to look at someone's body language and be like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I was watching on TikTok the other day, these men. And I've been seeing a lot of them. Once you start watching TikTok, good night, guys. Once you start watching TikTok, they take you down the rabbit hole. I believe these people on the phone is be listening to you, and whatever you talk about, you automatically start seeing it on the your algorithm. And so I was watching this girl who was having a discussion about men who usually embarrass their wives even on their wedding day. And I know some of you see it because you've been scrolling on TikTok too. Um, those men that would embarrass their future wife or their bride to be or their already wife, as in touching some, making some inappropriate remarks, or inappropriate touching, or even bashing their face into the cake or anything like that. And I'm like, sis, sir, if any man that I choose to marry figure in his head that he could take any cake and mess up my good makeup and put my face in any cake, sir, we get married at what, 1 o'clock in the afternoon? And by 1 o'clock the next afternoon, you better consider yourself, come get your stuff, because we break up. That finished marriage over. Because if you cannot respect my value, my beliefs, my if you can't respect my wishes, if you can't respect my boundaries, why am I would I want to spend the rest of my life with you for? For you to constantly, hey, Trinidad and Tobago, why am I going to put myself in a marriage or in a relationship to be constantly disrespected, constantly devalued, constantly put down and let down? Why? It don't make any sense. And so for a lot of us, we have to understand boundaries, understand people's boundaries. To me, I really think that these men don't really love these women. Let me let me tell you what, this is a talk show. Really and truly, I've been telling my best friend now for the past, must say, couple months. Well, I honestly feel that some men just don't like women. Like, y'all, like, I know y'all can take this out of context and y'all gonna be like, oh, Marva, you shouldn't. Some men, I feel like they just don't like women. Like, they prefer being with men. When you see them go out, a bunch of them together. When you see them going shopping, a bunch of them together. You see them going to play again, a bunch of them together. They always playing video games with a bunch of other men. They want to go and play basketball, a bunch of other men. They want to go and listen. It's so much things when they want to vent. Instead of venting to their women, they go and they vent to their boys and this and that. And I'm trying to figure out, like, do you all really like women? Or is it that you just want to have a woman just to have sex with, but you really don't want a woman? Because when it comes to emotional support, you go to a man. When it comes to any plan or anything that you want to do, you go to another man. When you want to play game or let down or time of relaxation, you go to another man. And I'm like, do you all really like women? The Bronx, New York is in the house. Listen. And so I'm like, do your men really like women? And so it got me thinking, even to the point where these men smashing cake in women faces, or just got married a few hours ago and you smashing cake in someone's face, like what was the conversation beforehand? And I see one where the lady did tell the man, listen, don't smash no cake in my face, don't put no cake in my face. And he still went and take her and hold her behind the head and push her whole head in the cake. Now you know you done paid for this cake, right? Some people hundreds of dollars that they paid on a cake, and then you turn around. Now you go and get your makeup done, you go and get your hair done. Sometimes you paying hundreds for your hair, you paying for your makeup, you paying for these things to be done, and somebody can come right there who's supposed to love you, respect you, cherish you, and push your whole head in a cake. Well, sweetheart, if he pushing your whole head in a cake in front of your family, your parents, your loved ones, if he pushing your face in a cake during your wedding day, which was supposed to be the most important day, what are you doing in private? If she disrespecting you and you already told her not to put cake on your face, and she still turn around and grab the cake and push it in your face, sir, what else is she disrespecting you in? Like you don't understand boundaries. And so all of these things we need to look at. And so we already discussed what are boundaries and how to set and to gauge your boundaries, how to stick and to enforce your boundaries. Um, you have some people, and even before I get to that, let me go to this, something that I want to share with you all. And I hope that you all getting this. If you all have any questions, please feel free to put it in the comment section. I can see the one on Facebook, but the one here on, oh, I'm gonna have to squint. But I'm trying to see if your comments, and if you're asking any question, please place it in the comment section so I can go ahead and answer any questions. Or if you want to add anything, let me know. Or you can WhatsApp me. The number is scrolling right down in the live feed. But listen, a you have to be respectful of others' values, their beliefs, their time, and their space. There was a situation the other day that I dealt with. And I told the person, I said, hey, 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 I am not one to think of myself so highly or like I'm miss important or I have arrived. But I need you to understand that I don't need you while you are speaking or communicating to me to go ahead and curse. If you feel the need to curse while you are speaking to me, that means you don't respect me. And I take it as you don't respect me. And so we no longer have to communicate or speak. Now, if you speaking to other people around me and you cursing, that's on y'all. That's on y'all. But when you are communicating to me, being who I am, is either you're going to respect me and do not go over that boundary, or we don't have to communicate or speak. And so with that, I was able to communicate that. Now, a few years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to say that because I was too afraid about what the person would say, or they may not like me, or they may stop talking to me, or that's a friendship I may lose. Let me tell you, at 42, I do not give a rat's hip. Let me tell you, I don't give a rat's hip, a elephant's hip. I don't care. If you want to cut me off, the better it is for me. The less persons I have to speak to. If I already communicated to you that something is disrespectful to me, or something is demeaning, or let me tell you, I don't care. Cut me off, or I'll cut you off. Because if I already expressed to you, hey, listen, not because I'm a pastor, not because I'm saved, but because I am a lady. When you are communicating with me, there's no need for you to use obscenities. And if you continue to, I'm going to just, exit out of the conversation. There are a lot of times that I'm very careful in giving people advice. But if we are very close friends and I said, hey, listen, can I give you my opinion or my advice on this? If they say yes, then I would say, this is how I would handle this, or I would advise you to handle it in this way. The choice is always yours in the end. And if I'm giving you an advice on something and you said, you know what, I can do that. Yeah, that's good advice. And then you turn around, you do the same thing tomorrow. You turn around, you do the same thing the next day. You turn around, you do the same thing the day after that. I'm looking at you like, hey, you aren't accepting the advice. You aren't accepting anything that I said to you. So I'm going to withdraw. I'm not going to be there like, oh, just a friend, just this, that. No, I'm going to withdraw. If I notice that I'm giving you advice and you start to act a certain way, or you are in opposition to what I have to say to you, I'm automatically going to shut down. I'm going to shut down. And I just said it the other day to my friend. When I'm saying something to you, if I said, if I say something like, listen, Indira, um, don't go left, go right. But Indira chose to go left. And then still asking me, you really think I shouldn't go left? I can shut down. I'm not answering you anymore because I already tell you, hey, listen, I think it's a better idea for you to go left. It isn't a good idea for you to go left. I think you should go right. But you going left and still asking me if I really truly think that you shouldn't go left. Mom, miss, sir, go left and go that way and leave me alone in my corner because I didn't tell you what I had to say. I'm not going to go beyond. And that's recognizing if that's a boundary or something you said, honey, I'm not going beyond that. I'm just going to withdraw and to extract myself from the conversation. And so we have to be able to recognize, these things. Even in friendships, we overstep plenty in friendships. And I'm telling you, especially in our community, our culture, Bahamians, Black people, we overstep a lot. We overstep a lot. I remember when I first came back home to Grand Bahama, I was in the food store. And while in the food store, a lady that I grew up with from I was a little girl, man, and I was always a small girl. I was always small, petite, no breast, no belly, nothing. I was always a small, slim person. After I had my daughter, I went right back to my same size. As a matter of fact, I was even smaller. My waist was always like a 26, 28, 29. And so I was always a small girl. Um, I had my son, of course, and so forth and all of that. And so I started to gain the weight. And then the person saw me in the store, and the first thing they said, "Oh, Marva, look at you, child, you so fat, miss." And at first, when the first conversation was like, "Hey, how you doing? Long time no see, this and that." And I'm like, "Hey, yes, I'm good to see you. I was in on the island for about 8 years. I'm now back home." And the conversation was good at first. And then it's like, "Child, look at you, you get so fat." And of course, the smile wiped off my face. Now, the old Marva would have still been like, hiki kaka, and yeah, child, and because I don't want to hurt nobody feelings. No, sweetheart, that smile wiped off my face real quick. Number one, you don't know my certain situation. You don't know if it's a medical issue. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know if I'm just saying, if I was pregnant or anything. You don't know none of that. You don't know what's going on with a person. For you to open your mouth, overstep your boundary to tell someone, oh, you fat. Let me read this. This is what Indira is saying. I am learning to set boundaries with my clients. It was hard at first trying to please clients to keep them. Now I am confident if they go somewhere else, if they don't respect my office. Fine, Indira, most certainly, because what is happening now is if you set a line, right, and that person come over that line, you know what you can do? You can draw another line, and that person is going to overstep and come over that same line again, and then you're going to draw another line, and they can overstep that, and soon you're going to be uncomfortable, feel unsafe, feel disrespected, devalued, and after a while, it's like you have no say. You feel valueless, and so yes, I respect that, Indira, because The more you allow someone to invade your space, the more you allow someone to disrespect you, the more you allow someone to demean you, the less you're going to feel about yourself. You will have absolutely no confidence. You will actually listen. Let me tell you, when people come in my space, when people come in my space, honey, I let you know straight off the bat. Some things I'm just not accepting. Some things I ain't accepting. And like Indira said, respect my office hours. If I say I close 5 p.m., don't come there 5:15 thinking that you're going to now manipulate me into doing what you need me to do. If I stop my services, it's just like someone sent me a nasty message one time because they messaged me in the middle of the night and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm spending time with my family, I won't be able to assist right now, but however, if you message me in the morning, I'll be able. And the person got offended because I told them, hey, it's too late, number one, for you to be messaging me. And then when I tell you, I set a boundary, my value, my beliefs. I don't believe you needs to be messaging somebody 11, 12 o'clock in the night if it's not an emergency. Then you won't get mad and the person send me a nasty message. And I'm like, sir, mom, miss, get mad all you want. It doesn't matter to me. Because that Marva that lived to please people is long gone. That Marva that cared about what people thought or think, that Marva is gone. And so let me get back to some of my notes that I really need y'all to get to. I really need to get to y'all. Sorry. Be respectful of others' values, their beliefs, their time, their space, etc. How do you know when to set boundaries? You would know how to set boundaries by first. I think I may have touched this earlier in the broadcast. Look at or pay attention to how you feel in certain situations. How do you know how to set boundaries? You set boundaries based on the way that you feel or how someone is making you feel in that moment. If you are in a room with someone and they are having you guys are having a conversation and the person reach out and put their hands on your knee or on your thigh and that made you uncomfortable, I would recommend you to take their hand and remove it and say, please, sir, ma'am, do not touch me in that way. Verbalize it. This is the way that you set boundaries. How do you know when you need to set boundaries? If it makes you feel uncomfortable, you need to set a boundary. If it makes you feel unsafe, you need to set a boundary. If it makes you feel anxious, you need to set a boundary. If it makes you feel overwhelmed, you need to set a boundary. And for a lot of us, sometimes when we get overwhelmed, we think that, oh, probably this is excitement or something like that. No, honey, sometimes it's a red flag. It's a red flag. You go to dinner with someone and you having this nagging feeling like something ain't right here, something ain't right here. Honey, pay attention to those feelings because you need to set your boundary based on how that person making you feel. If that person makes you feel uncomfortable or you having this feeling coming up constantly like something ain't right here, sir, ma'am, listen, pay attention to how you feeling in that moment, right, LaQuisha? You got to pay attention to how you feeling in that moment because based on how you feel, that will dictate how you would communicate or how much further you would go on in this conversation. And so the example that I give, you sitting in an office or you're sitting somewhere or in a car, anywhere, and you communicating with someone and they place their hands on your thigh. This ain't just your knee. They place their hands on your thigh and it makes you feel uncomfortable. Red flag. Set a boundary right then and there. I don't like to be touching that way, or that way that you are touching me is uncomfortable and it's making me uncomfortable. Please refrain from touching me in that way. Now, a lot of us get ourselves in certain situations, and I could remember sometimes um, being younger, I found myself in a situation one time where this person touched me inappropriately. And at first, I was so stunned that I couldn't, Like I couldn't move and I couldn't say nothing because I was so stunned. First of all, I felt disrespected. I felt like I didn't have no worth, no value. I felt like this person, you can't respect me as a person. And then I was like, I was lost. I was confused. All of these feelings and emotions going through me at the same time. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to hurt the person's feeling, but I'm hurting. I'm uncomfortable to the point where I'm sweating. I want to get out of the vehicle because I'm uncomfortable and I don't know what to do in this situation. And so it persists because I didn't shut it down the first time. Because I didn't shut it down the first time. When they did it the first time, they went to the knee and I was uncomfortable. I don't like people touching me. And so afterwards it progressed from the knee to the thigh area right above the knee. Then it gone up to the thigh area. And so I realized then that this thing was progressing. And so I'm running to someone else who I used to confide in and letting them know, hey, listen, I'm in a uncomfortable position and I don't know what to do because I don't want no backlash. I don't want to be labeled. I don't, but I'm uncomfortable. What do I do? And it's like, tell the person that you're uncomfortable. I was like, I can't do that because suppose I say this and then they do that. And so the person would have given me some advice on what to do and so forth and all of that. And I would have done some things and tried to rectify, but that was years ago. But now, I'm in a position where you touch me in the wrong, I'm like, sir, don't touch me in that way. If you don't want no hands, Holy Ghost hands laid on you, don't touch me in that type of way. Okay? We cool? All right. And so you have to be able to verbalize it. And then that was somebody who was in a position of authority. And so when you find yourself being placed in a situation where this is someone in authority that is now going beyond your boundaries, it is uncomfortable. And so you have to, recognize this feeling making me uncomfortable. What you are saying, because someone said something to me recently at work. And not only was it disrespectful and demeaning, it wasn't their business, number one. And it made me feel uncomfortable because why are you looking at me in that way? You know? And so it was someone in authority and I dealt with it head on. I didn't allow it to continue because I realized in my career, if you allow something to continue, you give that person an inch, they will take 1,000 miles. And so I had to put a stop to it right away. You weren't allowed to speak to me in that way. You're not allowed. I don't care how you even look at me to even verbalize that to me in any type of way. You're in no type of position. Mean you don't sleep together. Mean you don't lay in the same bed together. Mean you don't live in the same house together. So it ain't even in your, listen, this ain't your business. And so first of all, we don't sleep together. So you don't communicate to me in that type of way. And so I had to shut that baby down right away. Let me tell y'all, I had to shut it down right away. Years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that because, like I said, I was always someone that always want to please people. Yes, Miss Brian, you have to shut it down right away, immediately. And so I'm speaking to those that don't know how to shut it down immediately or don't recognize what the sparks going through in you. You ain't understanding that, hey, this is a red flag. I'm uncomfortable. And so you don't know how to internalize that and then verbalize that. You just internalize it, you keep it, and that's it, and you don't verbalize it. That's more what I want to say. Anyone that is going beyond your what you believe, like I said to my bestie the other day, I said I no longer have debates and run on with anyone that don't believe in what I believe in. I refuse to. I'm not gonna get into a pissing contest, for lack of a better word, with anyone if you don't believe what I believe. I'm not going to. In my probably 20s or 30s, yeah, but I'm not gonna have no pissing contest with you. Who's right, who's wrong? No, no, sir, no, ma'am. Like the conversation that's going on with um oh a woman should not be preaching or a woman should have her head covered when she's preaching. But according to my Bible, when I read it, it says the covering of a woman is her husband. That. And then in another area, it says a woman's covering, her beauty, is her hair. And so if I have my hair on, I don't have a bald head, you know, and I'm preaching, or if I don't have a husband, my head now becomes Christ, not my pastor, not Sister Susie, not Brother Susie and Apostle doing that. My head is Jesus Christ. And so I get my dictation from Christ. And so if Christ says, Marva, I want you to say this, and I'm saying that, I'm going to do what God tells me to do. Now, if you as a man feel as if I'm me as a woman because I'm in a female body isn't supposed to speak to you, then go in the corner, put your fingers on your lip and stay quiet. Go over there. That's fine with me. I'm not going to get in any kind of debate with anyone. Women ain't supposed to be preaching. Women supposed to have their hair covered. Women supposed to this. They ain't supposed to wear no makeup. I ain't getting in them type of conversation with anyone. I could remember when I first started, when I first got saved, um, certain things that I would wear, because of course you just getting saved. So that means, you used to wear the little things with the in, the little things with don't cover everything. Yeah, damn. The little things I used to wear. Because me, I was one who always used to like my belly out. Because like I said, I had a flat stomach. No stretch marks. I had a flat stomach. So I was going to show that little belly button. You hear me? And so I would, of course, have a little top on and my little skirt and my belly out. But when I got saved, I realized, okay, you can't have the belly out no more. You can't be, the tight thing for you anymore with everything showing and this and that. And so I got convicted with some of the things that I was wearing. Although I got saved, I was still, pushing the boundaries and still wearing certain things until the Holy Spirit convicted me like, that ain't for you anymore. Cover up. Put a show low for that. And so my whole thing is, if the Holy Spirit, if you are truly serving God, the Lord Himself, the Holy Spirit will let you know just seeing what you're supposed to be doing. I see no woman get struck down yet from God for preaching. I see no woman get struck down yet for preaching. So until then, I will preach. Because the Holy Spirit that you as a man hearing is the same Holy Spirit that is here. The same God that you communicate with is the same God I communicate with. So I don't know where they get this thing from. God don't see them type of He does not see gender. He sees a vessel. And so if you feel like this vessel can be used because it has a female genitalia, you go that way. If you feel that only God could talk to you because of your male genitalia, you go that way. I ain't having no conversation or no debate with nobody. I'm going to do what God tell me to do. You want to listen to me? Fine. You don't want to listen to me? That is fine. I ain't trying to exert authority over a man. I know my place. I know my position. And I play my role very well. And when I get married, my husband, if he's the apostle, the pastor, whoever, that means now that I'm married, he's my head. And so I will play my little role very well and be my good little housewife and do what I got to do. And when I got to preach, I got to preach. A lot of people don't understand the difference. I could be a lion. I could be I could be a beast when I'm preaching. Over when I come off that altar and the man say, he bring me one plate of, bring me some chicken sauce. I'm like, yes, honey, I ain't bringing chicken sauce right now. You got to know the difference. And so I just wanted to stick a pen in that just for understanding, So I'm not gonna get into those type of conversation. And again, that is setting boundaries. With joy, carry on, Miss A say, with joy, carry on. And so I'm not gonna get into those type of conversations and so forth and all that. And so I'm gonna try to wheel this back in. If anybody have any questions, comments, please do let me know. And let me give you some more pointers that I have written down here. Oh, this one is good. This one is good. I have to cover this before I close out. Before we go off. How do you feel when you are communicating with certain persons or when you're in the room with certain persons? Blessings to you, Suzette. I don't know if I can say it right. The first one is that cool too? Suzette, blessings to you. Do you feel drained, anxious, overwhelmed, angry, always in a place of competing, seeking approval from that person, or unsafe. How do you feel um, in the presence of certain people? That's another way for you to understand that it's time to set boundaries. How do you feel when you are in the presence of someone, or if you in communication with someone? How does that person makes you feel? Are you overwhelmed while speaking to that person? So that may mean that you know you need to set a boundary. Maybe I don't need to communicate with this person all the time because they have me overwhelmed when I'm speaking to them. They give me too much. Um, um, do you feel anxious when you are in the same room with this person or communicating with this person? Do you always feel anxious? That's not a good thing. Do you always get nervous? So there's boundaries that you have to set. Does this person make you feel unsafe? And I want to talk about the give you the illustration about on the wedding day, the man smashing the woman face in the cake. Do you feel safe with this person? If you dating someone, the first date, second date, and you feel unsafe with that person, you'll remember back in the day when you used to date somebody. You know, I talking to the older girlies. When you dating someone, um, 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 and you walking with them, they would let you walk on the side that does not have the traffic, and they would walk on the side with the traffic. You all remember back in the day those type of things? Or um um he would open the door for you, make sure you're in. Or if you're walking somewhere and they see somebody that don't look too, unsavory character, they would push you like on the other side while they walk on that side. So just in case something happened, they would be able to protect you. Listen, if you are dating someone and they are not protecting you, or you notice that that person is making you feel unsafe, honey, run. Because chances are, if they make you feel unsafe safe on the first date or the second date, honey, red flags, run. And so you got to set some boundaries for yourself. If somebody is going to make me feel unsafe, I don't need to be in their presence, because chances are you're not going to protect me if things go down. Um, so this is one way that you can recognize when you need to set your boundaries. If you always seeking that person's approval, like when you always talking to this person, you always seeking their approval. I can remember a few years ago, like I said, in my late 20s, early 20s, I should say. I'm always seeking this person's approval, and it feels as if I can't do nothing without running to this person and telling them first, and so forth. And all that. I always seeking their approval, even when it came to raising my daughter. And I'm like, at one point it started to get so heavy that I couldn't take it no more. But I was always seeking that person's approval, because I felt like if they didn't agree, or if I wasn't doing it their way, they wouldn't want to be around me anymore. They wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. And I was more concerned about pleasing them than to, do it the way that I wanted to do it. And so, are you always seeking that another person's approval? Boundaries, honey. When you see that you have the need to always seek somebody else's approval, set some boundaries. Try to set some boundaries and limit the amount of things that you share with people. Yeah, that may be your bestie, that may be your best cousin, your best sister. Listen, have some boundaries. Put some boundaries on your lip, put some boundaries on your mouth. There are some things that you just don't need to communicate. There are some things that you just need to sit down and let it marinate with you yourself. Marinate in that thing. You about to purchase a car? Marinate in that thing. Stop talking. Stop telling people. Stop it. Set some boundaries for yourself. Because most of the time, when you don't set boundaries and you're always seeking somebody else's approval, the person you're seeking the approval from may not have your best interest at heart all the time. And so watch that thing when you're always trying to seek somebody's approval. What is that person's expectation of you? And do you overexert yourself to please that person? What is that person's expectation? What is somebody else's expectation of you? What is their expectation? And are you going leaps and bounds to, please this person or reach their expectations? Honey, check that. You really need to check that, because if somebody constantly is expecting you to live a certain standard, and you know truly that this really isn't you, this ain't something that you agree with, but you constantly trying to reach this person bar, honey, that ain't for you. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. That only can frustrate you. You need to set boundaries. If you always trying to overexert yourself to please someone, this is something that I want you all to do. This is a talk show, like I said, but this is something that I want you all to do in your spare time. And I know plenty of people ain't gonna do it, and that's fine. But this is something that I want you to do. Go and make a list. For those of you that you already identified that you are a people pleaser, because this is where lack of boundaries come from. Most of the time, people who have lack of boundaries are persons that are, seeking the approval of persons, or they are people pleasers. A lot of mothers are people pleasers. I'm telling you, because you want your children to like you, you want your children to understand you, you want people to accept you, you want people on the job to accept you, you want your boss to like you want, and so most of the time you find yourself in that bracket of pleasing people, or, kind of setting your value and your standard, putting them on the back burner to more please someone. And so check that. And what I want you to do is make a list of your values. Make a list of your desires and your wants, not your expectation. Because why I can tell you not to write down expectations, or don't call it expectations, because when you have an expectation and you expecting somebody else to come to your expectation, that's you setting up yourself for disappointment and failure. Do not ever, let me put this. Stop expecting people to meet your expectations. I know it sounds bad, right? But I'm telling you, don't expect people to meet your expectations, especially in relationships. You may have your standards, you may have your value, you may have some things that you say, what? This is what I will accept in a relationship, and this is what I will not accept in a relationship. Now, if you go beyond that, I'm out. If you go below that, I'm out. But when it comes to you saying that, I expect you to stay one weight. Oh, you can set yourself up for disappointment. Example, I'm expecting you to stay the same size that you were when I meet you when you was 23 at 45. Honey, you setting yourself up for a disappointment. I expect you to always go to all of my work functions. You're setting yourself up for disappointment, because this is real life. You can't expect this man or this woman to always be to a function, because life happens. And so this is the reason why I say, don't set yourself up by saying, I expect you to do this. I expect my husband to do this. I expect, a lot of us, we expect people to make us happy. Mom, sir, you can disappoint yourself plenty times, plenty. You all mad now because you all had expectations and people who let you all down. You all have friendships and with people who let you all down day in, day out, because your expectations. Stop expecting people. I usually say to my bestie, stop looking for you in people. Stop looking for you in people. You know what you like, you know your desires, you know your wants, you know your value. And so because you're a good person at heart, you're expecting everybody around you to be like that, or to deal with you like that. Honey, this is the real word. It don't work like that. Really and truly, it doesn't. It don't work like that. I'm not saying don't have expectations, when it comes to you setting your personal goals and so forth and all of that. I'm not saying not to have expectations. What I'm saying to you, hey, Miss Maife, what I'm saying is stop putting your expectations on somebody. That's manipulation. I expect you to this, and I expect you. No, that's manipulation. You manipulating somebody to make you feel a certain way when it's not that person's when it's not that person's duty to make you feel that way. You expecting for somebody to make you happy. It ain't that person's duty to make you happy. You expecting your husband to fulfill you. It ain't your husband's duty to fulfill you. It ain't your wife's duty to fulfill you. You got to find that fulfillment within yourself. So we always now expecting or relying on people to make us feel a certain way. Honey, stop that. You setting yourself up for disappointment. Again, this is where boundaries comes in. And so this is the reason why I said to search yourself. Write down some things. 10 things, 2 things, 5 things, 20 things. What are your value? What is your value? What are you worth? What is your desire? What are your wants? What are your needs? Your needs may be, hey, I have a need for physical touch in my intimate relationships. Catch what I'm saying? I have a need for physical touch in my intimate relationships. This may be somebody who don't like being touched by strangers, but when they are intimate with somebody, they make that may be what they like. And so when you express that to your spouse, hey, listen, this is a way that I feel wanted, that I feel desirable, that I feel needed, is by you touching me or complimenting me. It's not an expectation, it's a desire, it's a need, it's a want. But when you come to the point where you're saying, you have to this, you have to that, and you have to this, and I expect this, and you can die if that person don't do that, honey, you setting yourself up for disappointment. Let me read this is what Suzette is saying. As a leader on my job daily, I have to address boundaries with clients. Some staff think I do too much because they get too comfortable by wanting to treat the job site as a social setting, not on my watch. I agree. I agree. Something similar to what Indira said. I agree. As a police officer and in the area that I work, I said, I always say, boy, we just work hard. And just as hard as we work, we will play just as hard. But there is a time to play and there is a time to work. There's a setting to play and there's a setting to work. And so when you begin to crisscross those boundaries, then you have a problem. And there always has to be a boundary. There's certain things I'm going to accept. Someone said something to me at work. And of course, the way you dress at work and the way you dress at a social event that you're having at work is 2 different ways, right? And so the person says something to me. I shut that down real quick. No, sir. I shut that down, nip that in the butt real quick. Know the difference. I have values. I have standard. I'm not the type of woman that's going to accept certain things. Now, there are a lot of women that will accept it. Go and find them and you hang in that corner. Come over to this corner because this corner here ain't for you. Boundaries. And so, yes, Suzette, you are absolutely correct. You have to set boundaries when it comes to work. And let me tell you all something. When you begin, I wrote down something on my Facebook page, and I think I posted it just the other days. When you get to the point where you set your boundaries, people who don't have boundaries will always, always be upset with you for setting your boundaries. People that don't have boundaries will always be upset at you for setting your boundaries. What time it is? I gotta go because I want to come off at 9. Always be upset at you for setting boundaries. And so how do you look at people who don't have no boundaries, and they will come in your life and like a tornado, mess up everything, disrupt everything because they have no boundaries in their life. No standard, no level to say, okay, this is my level, this is my limit, bam, and I'm done here. This is my ceiling, bam, I'm done right here. They have absolutely no boundaries. Bang, that's it. They have none. And so they will come and they will disrupt your life. But somebody who has boundaries, let me tell you, the worst thing you could possibly do is to be in a relationship or a friendship or something with somebody who has no boundaries. You will constantly, constantly be disappointed. You will constantly be anxious, constantly be overwhelmed, constantly be uncomfortable. It's just like being in a friendship with somebody who just don't know what to say. You will always be afraid, always scared of what this person can say, what they can do, what they can not. You could always have this anxious feeling because you know this person has no boundaries. No boundaries on their mouth. They say anything. They don't even think. They don't filter anything. It comes from their head straight to their mouth. No boundaries. Let's continue. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? And so go ahead and make a list of your values, desires, and wants. Stop expecting people to meet your expectations. This is a setup for disappointment. Be willing to say and or cut off a person that don't or continues to disrespect your values, your boundaries. Let me say that again. Let me say that again. And I'm clocking out in a minute. Be willing to say, verbalize, and or cut off, uh, cut off, cut off a person that don't or continues to disrespect your boundaries. If you already said to your friend, listen, when I'm not the one, she says I always late. If you say to a friend that my time is very important to me and I'm going to pick you up, um, I need to be at this. Let me give you an example. If you say to a friend, hey, I don't like when people come into my home and walk straight into my bedroom. And so this friend constantly comes to your home and always barge into your bedroom. And you already said it to them. Good night, Lanique. Um, so if you constantly saying to this person, hey, not constantly, but if you've already verbalized that you don't like people walking into your bedroom and the person constantly just barge into your bedroom, yeah, cut off. I had a person that I called friend for a little while, and this person was so intrusive. They were so intrusive, and they always would ask personal questions, and the questions that they would ask would make me feel so uncomfortable because I'm like, it ain't your business, and we ain't even been friends that long for you to be asking me that type of question. Like, hey, Santa, how you doing? Like, you don't even know me in that type of way to be asking me that kind of question. It ain't your business. And so the person was so intrusive. They always want to know this and they know that. And it's a spiritual thing too. But I'm talking about boundaries today. And I'm like, when they got to ask me these questions, I either would shut down or I would change the subject. And at one time I was like, why you always want to know such personal stuff about me? That is me saying to you, stop. And so the person would persist. And at one time I cut them off, like I cut them off for months. And my sister said to me, Marva, child, you cut off people too quick, man. You need to give people a chance. This and that. That's the reason why you don't have no boyfriend now. That's the reason why you don't have much friends, because you cut people off. And I'm like, but sis, when I see you from a mile away. Number one, I see you, in the physical, and I see you in the spiritual. So when I see something that makes me feel uncomfortable, cut off. When I need to keep that, listen, if something is a cancer, why do I want to keep cancer, something that is cancerous? I want cut it off and get rid of it. And so, um, a few months later, the person messaged me and said, hey, whatever I did, I apologize. And, I noticed that you stopped calling or messaging, or when I call you, you don't answer or anything like that. And so my reply was, yes, I stopped calling. I cut you off because, and I expressed to them, you made me feel uncomfortable. You always ask me personal questions that I don't feel comfortable answering. And I said, I said something to you and you got upset over something, that was so like it was nothing for you to blow out of proportion. And so I'm not that type of person. When you have me as a friend, you have me as a friend. You hear me? When you have me, Marva, as a friend, trust me, Spa, you have me as a friend. That's the reason why I don't have too much friend, because I love hard. I love my friends hard. I respect my friends. I respect their spaces. I respect their boundaries. I don't need to be at your house 24/7. I don't need to be in your bedroom. My bestie now, you've been friends for 16 years. And sometimes I come and I go at her house. I would call her first. Hey, bestie, I threw the corner. I come in to hear you right now. What you doing? Child, I don't just come, man. I say, no, I just want to know what you're doing first. I can drop by. Sometimes I'm coming from work and she don't live too far from where I work. I text her, I call her, girl, what you doing? I want past there. Girl, I taking a nap. Okay, we can talk later. If you tell me you taking a nap, what I coming by your house for? And so even when I come at her house, I sit down in the front room unless she invites me and say, Gala in the room, come in the room. I'm not going to overstep or be so intrusive and just walk straight. No, let me tell you, we've been friends for 16 years. I ain't just going to go just walk up like I's the boss. No, man, you got to have boundaries. And some people, they just don't have no sense of boundaries whatsoever. They walk up in your house, ain't nothing. I can't stand more people coming to my house without calling me first. Message me, let me know you coming. Even if you in the parking lot and you forget to call me, hey sis, girl, I downstairs, girl, I should have called you a little while. Don't come over here without calling me first. Number one, if we ain't that close of friends, don't come by my house at all. Oh, y'all can see the different side of Marva on the Marva Lewis show. Because I don't like my space being invaded. I am very particular with my space. I set an atmosphere in my home, and I hate, hate, hate for people to come in that atmosphere and to disrupt it. And that is at work. There's certain things I can't control. And so sometimes when I step in the atmosphere, I would either put on my music or I zone people out. I'm very good at zoning people out. You'll be right on the side of me talking, and I could soon tune you right out. I don't hear you all half of the time. I in my own world, especially if I got work to do. But in my home, certain spirits and certain temperatures and certain energy, I don't need in my space. Because now when you come with that energy and that spirit and you leave that here, I gotta now go and battle and fight and deal with that. Let me tell you all something that I have written here. Where it is. When you feel drained, when you're in the presence of somebody and you constantly feel drained, it's usually for a lack of boundaries. When you talking to somebody or somebody come to your home or you go by a friend or something, and every time you leave this conversation with that somebody, or when they call you on the phone and you all have conversation and you leave that conversation drained, honey, you need to set boundaries. Probably less phone calls, probably less visits to your house, less visits to their house. Because if you're constantly drained, you know what that means? That means you are either giving too much or you are taking on too much. And because of who I am spiritually as a prophet, I take on a lot. I could just pass somebody and I see their whole life. I could just pass somebody in the street and I see what's going on with them. I could just pass a Joneser and I automatically feel what they are feeling, because some people, they call it impact, but I'm a prophet. And so I feel and I discern these things. I don't constantly need to be weighed down by problems after problems after problems after problems after problems, especially if I don't give you a way out. I didn't tell you how to deal with the problem. I didn't tell you how to, sort out this and sort that out. And you're making the same mistake over and over and over again. But yet you always want to come and bog me down. So speak, girl, I can shut you right down. I can stop taking your calls. Because if I am constantly depleted and drained while I'm communicating with you, I'm going to set my boundaries. Honey, don't come past this. I can't take it. No more phone calls today. None. That's it. I can't take another conversation about this no good baby daddy. I can't take another conversation about your no good baby mother. I can't take another conversation about you didn't get the promotion. I can't take another conversation about they didn't do this and they didn't do that and they did this and they did. I can't take another conversation. And so you have to set boundaries. Do not be afraid to say no. Somebody always calling you for money. Always, 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 always calling you for money. But when you need it, you can't reach them. No. Set boundaries. No, I don't have it for you. Set boundaries. I'm not going to lie and tell you, no, I don't have it. No, no, sis. No, sir. I don't have it for you. And I'm done with that. No, I don't have it for you. Why is it that every time we go out for dinner, why is it that every time we go, why is every time we go and we do something, I have to be the one to spend the money? No, I can't. Set boundaries or you're always going to be drained. Always. So you always want ambulance. You always want ambulance. And so when you find yourself being depleted spiritually, as in you come off the phone with this person and you tired, man, like you drained, you want to go take a nap after you finish talking to this person, you giving too much or you taking on too much. Okay, I think I'm done. What else I have here? Another boundary. This one is very important. I touched a little bit on it earlier. Your body. Do not be afraid to say no. I don't like being touched like that. I don't like being hugged like that. I don't like being kissed like that. I don't like being touched in that way or in this moment. Because sometimes it may not be that you don't like being hugged or touched. It may be in that moment you don't want to be touched or you don't want to be hugged. Verbalize it. Say it. Don't just internalize it. It's so much times we could save ourselves in relationships if we would say, babes, honey, I don't mind being hugged. I don't mind the kiss. I don't mind you touching me. But at this moment, don't touch me. It may have been after an argument. Why are you trying to touch me after we just have an argument? Give me some space. Let me process what we just been through. Give me a moment and then I'll get right back to you. I'm the type of person because of the job that I do. And of course, because I'm a prophet and I take on so much. When I come home from work sometimes, based on what I deal with, it may be something serious, or it may be something that isn't that serious, but I took on a lot from it. When I come home, I have to take a moment where I just lay in bed or I go in my room and I close the door. It ain't that I don't love my kids. Space is a huge thing, Miss Booker. It isn't that I don't love my kids. I love my kids to pieces. I will die for them at any moment. All right, Jacqueline. Thank you. And so it isn't that I don't love my kids, but I had to set a boundary. I can't come from work dealing with all of that, and my head is this size to now come and deal with my children. Because you know what I can do? All of that aggression and all of that, what I've been dealing with at work, I'm going to put it on them. And I find myself doing it plenty times. And so I just have to pull back and say, oh crap, I've taken out my anger, my frustration on them. Let me go in my room and shut the door and try to cool down. I do it. I make mistakes. Right? And so this is the reason why most of the time when I come from work, I go straight in my room and I go and I just chill for a moment. Or another thing that gets me calm is I go and I cook. Listen, I don't care how tired I am. If I had a long, long day, sometimes I come in my kitchen or I go to the food store, buy some stuff, come and make a new recipe, or come and cook something. And that sort of kind of calm me down because I deal with so much. But when it comes to my space, I can remember when, and this was years ago because I haven't had a boyfriend in a very, 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 very long time. I had this boyfriend who said to me, "You just like a nigga." You'll excuse my term because I'm only saying the way that he said it. You just like a nigga, man. You act like a man. You all rough and thing and don't want me to touch you and this and that and all of that. You know, if we're not intimate, you ain't want me to touch you. And when you're a little young, you don't quite understand your body yet. You're still just trying to learn you. And it wasn't until years later that I was like, oh, I understood what he was saying because if it wasn't intimate, I didn't want him to touch me. Like, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want you in the bathroom with me. I don't want, if I go into the store, I don't need you to come with me. I don't need you to be touching me 24/7 because I'm not a touchy feely person. And so I had to understand that about myself and be able to be okay with that. And so when we had disagreements and so forth and like that, and I would be like, hey, listen to me, babes. Give me some time. Give me a moment. let me stay in this room by myself, or let me stay in the front room by myself, or let me go and take a walk or something. When I done calm down and I done deal with me, I'll come back to you. Don't come to me. I'll come to you. Y'all remember Benito? Don't call us, we'll call you. Don't call us, we'll call you. Listen, that's the type of person that I am. Listen, don't come to me. Wait till I come to you. And a lot of women are not like that. A lot of women want that guy to come after them. They want the man to knock down the door. They want the man to come and say, Pee, what's happening? No, honey, I'm the reverse. If we have a problem, I can step away and I can say, sir, give me some time, or else it can be a problem. Give me some time. Let me process, and I can come find you. And when I come find you, it's all good. It's all fine because I don't deal with my crap. I don't deal with my garbage. I don't take it out and I don't throw it out. I don't deal with it. And now I'm good. And so now I'm able to come back to you. And then I'm able to now verbalize this is this and this is that. But honey, don't try to do it within the time when I need to decompress. That's the right word. When I need to decompress, leave me alone. Let me decompress. And even when I come home, like I said, from work, I need to decompress. And so a lot of times we need to understand who we are. What makes you happy? What makes you feel comfortable? What makes you feel uncomfortable? And that's basically what boundaries are. What are your limits? It is you setting that line. It's an invisible line. And the moment somebody crosses that, it's a problem. And so a lot of us, like I said in the beginning of the show, that a lot of us, the reason why we are people pleasers is mostly because our mothers or our parents were people pleasers, or because you in a room with somebody that you don't like. And even we're even on the show we're going to discuss molestation. You find many times that the very person that a child was uncomfortable with is usually the person that molested them. And so most parents don't pick up on that because, oh, that's Uncle Sue or Uncle Joe and Auntie Susie. And so your child uncomfortable around that person, but you're not picking up that your child uncomfortable around that person, and you constantly force them to be around that person. And so that pervert automatically thinks, oh, your mother ain't gonna believe you, your dad ain't gonna believe you. They always just leave you with me. And so because of that, remember now, plenty parents dealing with pleasing people. They leave you with certain people, or they go to work and leave you with certain people, and it makes you feel uncomfortable because you can't verbalize it the way that you want to. These people take advantage of you. So you would find most of the time that the person that your child uncomfortable with is the very person that abused them. And so for me now, as an adult, if my children are uncomfortable with a situation, child, please do best believe. And so plenty times I don't have much company around, because if it makes my child uncomfortable, it's a problem. I was dating somebody that made my daughter feel uncomfortable one time. And listen, I break up with the fella. No, you need to go. You know where you can make my daughter feel uncomfortable? In her home. She should be able to feel comfortable in her home, in her own home. If she wants to wear tights, if she wants to wear her tank top, if she want to walk around in her underwear in her mom's house, her mother's house, she's going to be comfortable doing that. In no way I'm going to allow anyone to come into my space and make my children feel uncomfortable. It's not going to happen. And if you making them feel uncomfortable, you ain't gonna last long. You ain't gonna last long, and you ain't gonna be in my space for a very long time. I may have to tolerate you for a little while, probably because you're a family, but I can verbalize to you, hey, listen, don't say that to my child. If you used to saying, hey, picky head, listen, don't call my child picky head, because my child ain't no picky head. Hey, ugly, my child is not ugly. Do not communicate that or verbalize that to my child. Set boundaries with your family. And so, guys, that's the show. That is it. I'm done. I'm finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Listen, I would like for this to be more interactive. Like I said, you could always WhatsApp me. Of course, you could leave your comment on Facebook and on YouTube. If your phone is with you, because some of you, the reason why you may not be able to WhatsApp me is because you're watching me on your phone, which is understandable, but you could always WhatsApp me. Of course, I'm going to open the phone lines once this, I think by next week or so, you should be able to call me on this number. And so you'll be able to call me while we on the show and we could have discussions, man, on the show. I don't only want to be the one running on because my lip dry right now. You mean just lie, all the lipstick that I put on, the matte lipstick and cake it up. I don't only want to be the only one speaking. And so that's what I do when I'm preaching. I do not want to do that. And so with the Marva Lewis show, I want to have persons on and I want to communicate with you guys because I would love for one of you to call me on WhatsApp or message me on WhatsApp where we could speak more. And so listen, you all go ahead, man. You all leave me the comments on Facebook. What happened to you all, man? You all leave me the comments on Facebook. Let me know what y'all want me to talk about. Put in the comment section or WhatsApp me on 826 3240. WhatsApp me some of your questions or comments or topics that you would want to hear on the Marva Lewis Show. You could also email me at the Marva Lewis Show at hotmail.com. Let me know what it is that you want to talk about, what we need to talk about. Let me know so that I have a list here of some things. I have a list here of some things that I would like to talk about. But go ahead, let me know, and we can put it in the bowl and we could talk about it. I want to have a segment in the show where I go and I get a question out of the bowl and answer the question or a comment on the live feed. And so listen, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I love you guys so much. I like spending time with you guys. But sometimes it's so difficult. It's so easy for a man to just wash his face and come on live. But us girls, we gotta go and fix our hair, put on clothes, put on lashes and makeup. I don't know lash today, but I mean you gotta go and draw your eyebrow, put on makeup. And that is one of the reasons why I don't come on most of the time because it takes so much for me to go and put on makeup and this and that, and it just be too much, man. And of course, you all know I was dealing with acne, and of course, I have my own products that I'm using on my face. So you all notice that I haven't been dealing with the big, huge bumps anymore. It's my face is clearing up, but still, you have the markings and the stuff like that. I'm still dealing. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to do this, man. But when God tell me do something, I do what He tell me to do. But hey, it's a talk show, so some days I'll be cute and some days I won't be cute. Hey, deal with it. This is the Marva Lewis Show. So good to have you guys. I hope you enjoyed this show with me. Until next time.